The alarm blares. The heart monitor flatlines for a heartbeat, then spikes again, erratic and cruel. The 6-year-old boy lies motionless, chest barely rising under the hospital sheets. Tubes run across his fragile body, connected to machines that beep like impatient guardians. The billionaire father leans over him, jaw tight, hands shaking, eyes wide with fear he cannot hide. His polished shoes scrape the floor as he paces, powerless despite all the money and influence he has ever commanded. "Stay with me," he whispers, voice breaking, though no one can hear him over the frantic beeping. His son twitches a weak finger toward him, and a flicker of hope catches in the man's chest. Yet even this small sign feels precarious, fragile, like it could vanish in a breath. Through the glass window of the ICU corridor, she watches. A poor teenage girl, kneeling on the cold marble floor, scrubs the dust from the tiles with a tattered cloth. Her dress is faded, sandals worn thin, hair tied back in a messy ponytail. Every day she comes here, unnoticed, unseen. Today, however, she pauses when her eyes meet the boy's through the glass. She lifts a hand slowly, uncertain, and smiles. The boy's lips twitch into the faintest echo of a smile. The monitor beeps slightly faster, almost in rhythm with the tiny stir of life. A nurse notices and whispers in surprise, "Did you see that?" The father lifts his head sharply. For the first time, he notices her, standing quietly, small but present. A human light in the sterile hospital. Night falls. The room is dim except for the soft glow of monitors. The father sits slumped in a chair, tie undone, phone lying ignored on the table. His hands cover his face, but no tears fall yet. The boy sleeps, fragile, peaceful for the first time that day. Outside, on the steps, the girl eats her meager meal and hums softly, a tune half remembered, half forgotten. The melody drifts through the hospital walls, unnoticed by most, but carrying something gentle, something warm into the boy's room. The next morning, doctors murmur in astonishment as the boy's vitals hold steady. The father steps out of the room, drawn toward the glass, without understanding why. The girl is there again, hands folded, watching with quiet care that no wealth can buy. Her eyes meet his, calm but firm, a silent challenge and reassurance all at once. For the first time in years, he stops. He looks at her, truly sees her, and something inside him shifts. Small, fragile, but real. He does not yet understand who she is or why she matters, but he knows deep down that this child, his son, has found in her a spark he cannot provide. And somewhere between the machines and the silence, a question lingers in his mind, unspoken, but loud enough to echo. The monitor beeps frantically again. The boy's chest rises shallowly, struggling with each breath. Alarms echo through the ICU, and nurses rush back and forth, voices clipped and tense. The billionaire father grips the edge of the bed, knuckles white, leaning so close it seems he might collapse into it. "Please, hold on," he whispers, voice barely audible, raw with fear. Machines beep and hiss like the rhythm of a heart barely alive, and for once, all his money and power feel useless. Doctors shake their heads, exchanging worried glances, murmuring terms he doesn't fully understand. Treatments are failing. Nothing seems to work. Outside the glass, the girl stands silently, clutching a small bundle of folded papers. Her worn dress flutters lightly in the corridor draft. She hums softly, the melody trembling, almost fragile enough to break, but the boy hears it. His eyes flutter open, focus shifting to the faint sound beyond the glass. For a moment, life seems to answer her song. A small smile forms on his pale lips. The nurses notice the tiny change, confusion, and hope battling across their faces. The father's gaze snaps to the window. For the first time, he sees her clearly. The poor girl, small and ordinary, yet somehow vital. He wants to stop her, to demand she leave, to remind himself that outsiders cannot interfere. Guards approach, and he opens his mouth, ready to speak, but the child's weak hand twitches again toward the window. Something in the boy's expression, the hope, the recognition, halts him. He freezes, watching as she presses a note against the glass. A simple drawing of a sun, a bird, a smile. The boy's eyes follow it intently. Machines beep with slight irregularity, but the tension eases, as if her presence alone is a medicine. Night falls again. Alarms flare sporadically. The boy's condition fluctuates, and fear gnaws at the father's chest. He leans into the chair, exhausted, hair disheveled, shoulders heavy. Outside, the girl hums again. She leaves small gifts, crumpled flowers, tiny drawings, whispers stories no one else will hear. The boy listens. He responds. Each tiny victory fuels a fragile hope. The father watches silently, torn between disbelief, anger, and a growing awareness that she is not ordinary. One night, the machine flatlines briefly. Panic erupts. Nurses shout. Doctors sprint. The father collapses onto the floor, sobbing quietly, head in hands. The girl leans close to the glass and whispers, "Don't be afraid. Breathe with me." The boy's lips twitch. His fingers grasp the sheets, then slowly reach toward her presence. The father lifts his head, eyes wide, realization dawning. Her impact is real. Her courage is keeping his son alive in a way money never could. Morning comes. Sunlight spills into the room, soft but hopeful. The boy stirs again, breathing steadier. The father steps toward the girl, voice trembling. "Who are you? And why does my son listen to you?" His question hangs in the air, heavy with awe and fear, unanswered. Outside, she meets his gaze, calm, unwavering, holding a quiet power that neither wealth nor influence can touch. Could this ordinary girl, ignored every day, be the one who holds the key to saving his child? The child gasps once, small and fragile, then drifts in and out of consciousness. Monitors blink steadily now, but only barely. The billionaire father stands frozen, watching every tiny movement, every shallow breath. His hands are trembling, his suit wrinkled, tie loose. Money, power, influence, all meaningless here. Nothing he owns could bring back the life that hangs by a thread. The poor girl stands at the glass, silent, her eyes steady, full of empathy and courage. She steps forward, finally allowed in by the father, and enters the room. The air shifts, soft, tense, and heavy with hope. She kneels beside the bed, voice gentle. "Hi, I'm here. You're safe." Her words are simple, ordinary, but they carry warmth, care, and a quiet strength. The child's tiny hand reaches for hers. His lips curl into a faint smile, the first real one in days. The father watches, rooted to the floor, awe and disbelief etched across his face. For a moment, silence reigns, except for the rhythmic beep of machines, slower now, steadier. She hums softly, strokes the boy's hand, whispers stories of sunlight, birds, and home. His eyes, once clouded with fear and pain, follow her intently. The color returns slightly to his pale cheeks. Doctors exchange surprised glances. Nurses whisper among themselves, noting subtle improvements. Yet the real change is unseen by all but the father and the girl. He feels it deep in his chest, a force stronger than wealth, stronger than influence, stronger than any treatment or medicine. Her ordinary courage, her simple human empathy, is saving his son where all else failed. Hours pass. The father leans closer, voice breaking. "Tell me your name," he says, more to himself than to her. She smiles faintly, still holding the child's hand. "I'm just someone who cares," she replies softly. There's no pride, no boast, just honesty, humility, and bravery. The boy stirs more, breathing steadier. The monitors finally show improvement. Machines that once dictated fear now echo hope. The father steps back, watching quietly. He finally sees what wealth never taught him: patience, empathy, human connection. He learns her story, how she lost someone dear, how she has lived with quiet pain, yet still shows care for others. In her presence, he realizes how hollow his power was without love, how empty success feels when life itself feels fragile. The girl stands to leave. The father stops her gently, hand on her shoulder. No words are needed. The child reaches weakly for her hand, gripping tightly, a silent plea that speaks louder than anything. He watches the father glance at her, gratitude, humility, and awe in his eyes. The sun filters through the hospital window. The boy sleeps peacefully, breathing easy. The father kneels beside him, watching, and finally understands what true value is. Not money, not power, not fame, but heart. He looks at the girl, at his son, at the room that now feels alive. Sometimes, the people we ignore every day are the ones who save us. The room falls silent. Nothing more needs to be said. The quiet hum of life continues, fragile yet persistent. And for the first time, everything feels